I thought I would film this clip and I would pop it in probably on a Project Life weekly video. I think I shared some of this either in a most recent Project Life weekly video or it was in my membership group. I, changed my desk around. You guys saw that I did that. This is working out so well. And I had done, I wanted to be able to have a space for like all of my Project Life pieces. For instance, like this is some chipboard that I want to be able to use in February. There's a little chipboard piece down there that I want to use, but I'm waiting for a photo to get printed. So I wanted to have a space for that. I also wanted to have a space for some photos. There's photos for Project Life, but then there's also some photos of some pieces that I want to do some traditional pages to. And then there's some cards that I want to use that were laying like just piled on the desk. So I put this tin together. I spray painted it. And then I'm using the tin. I found these pieces at the dollar store. These actually worked out amazing. And then I made dividers just using some chipboard I had on hand. And then here's the lid to the tin. And then these two pieces I got at the dollar store too. Those are the same as the ones that are in here. They come with lids, and here the lids are on the bottom in case I ever wanted them to be closed. But for up here, I just put the lids in my storage, in my backstock storage. And this is working out great as well. And then I can also move this. I like having it on the lid so that I can move it. And then this is a glass shelf that you get. They're linked in my Amazon store, and they're linked as, or they're like used for monitors for the computer. In fact, if you look at my iMac over there, I actually have two of the glass shelves stacked on top of each other for my computer. But I had this one and I had put it up because I wasn't using it. Well, I got it out, cleaned it up, and put it on here, and this is amazing. And then I have some of the Ali Edwards product that I just have. Some of these, like, I think they're not 3x8, but that's always what I call them. And then I have these containers that I also got at the dollar store. I have one underneath, and then I have one up here. And then I also moved over. This was at a different space in my office, and it's my kits from Ali Edwards. When I was getting story kits, the stamp set and then the story kit part, I would open them up and then put them in these containers so that I could keep them together and that way I could use them. But I moved this over here, and now it's just so nice to have all of my Project Life stuff that I'm like wanting to use. Like obviously all of this stuff is Project Life stuff, and in January got my circles out and I used my circles, but this is more of the stuff that I'm reaching for that I want to use in the month that is happening. And then I'll break it up and then put it into my normal storage once the month passes. So I also am wanting to I'm using this year my core kits more. And so there's certain cards that I want to pull out that I want to be able to use. I'm also creating digital product now. So I also have like in here, I have my days of the week cards that I didn't use, that I had cut apart and put them there. So that will also be a place for that. And then it keeps it all contained. So I love having this. My album has been sitting right here in front. And that's the other thing is I'm leaving my album out this year to work on it more as the weeks happen and as the weeks progress. And so that's really nice. That usually sits right here. And then that's really nice. I can pick it up and close it, and I actually set it right here closed if I'm doing a live or I'm crafting or I'm doing like card making or something and I need the space. I can set my album right there and then use the space. So this has turned out to be amazing. So I just wanted to share this little setup that I have recently set up. I used basically everything I already had on hand. A lot of the stuff I already had on hand. I only purchased these two containers, and then the two round containers. And I got those at the dollar store. So I literally spent around $15 the day I went to the dollar store. Everything else I had on hand and I just pulled out. So that's really nice. So this is just my little Project Life area. And then I thought I would share that. And then now let's jump into our video for today. All All right, I'm going to jump right in here to wrapping up January. One of the things that I really want to show this year with my Project Life Weekly is where my album is at, the progress I'm making, and really wrapping things up at the end of the month. I tend to work better with my album if I wrap the months up as close to the end of the month as possible. So I have a couple photos here that I'm going to cut out. I used the Project Life app to put all 3 of these photos together on a collage. I did waste that bottom part right there, but it's going to end up working out fine. I didn't have anything else I needed to add, like I didn't have another photo. This here is a photo of some homemade bagels that a friend dropped off. And so I wanted to just add that. I had originally thought I would add it as a 4x6 photo, but I ran out of spaces. And so I'm just going to add it to the bottom of this card here. And then at the very bottom, I'm just going to write yummy treats from a friend. I could add a word phrase sticker there if I wanted, or I could get a little bit more creative with it. But honestly, I'm at a place where I just want to wrap up this month. And I also wanted to mention that for this month in particular, January, I have a lot of journaling in here. I think this is probably the most journaling I've ever had in like a month of Project Life. And it just so happens that I've wanted to add a lot of things. I've wanted to have a lot of words in January. This is not how my album will always be. It's not how every single month will be. There's definitely going to be months that I have a lot less journaling. So here is the journaling that I did on my computer, and these that I'm trimming out right now are the information about each of the kids. So there is ribbon on each of the cards in the pockets behind the photos of the kids, and I just took a few minutes and I wrote some things down about the kids, their age, and then just some things that are happening with them at the beginning of this year. So for Kayla, I just wrote about her getting into her taking musical theater and advanced drama, and how it's been quite a bit for her. And then starting to drive, and those were just a few details. For Violet, I wrote down, her favorite music, her age. I should have actually put on that card getting ready to wrap up the end of middle school, but I actually didn't end up thinking about that. I just measured that space right there between the top of the card and where the camera starts, and that's how I took that measurement, and then that's what I used to fill on my computer. So same way I always do my journaling. And then this is the sticker paper I use, and I really like that this sticker paper, the backing, it has some slits in it so that you can peel off part of the sticker paper and press it down and then peel off the rest. And when I do that, I feel like I get it on a lot straighter. It takes a little bit of, it takes a little bit of getting used to use the sticker paper, and it's not always perfect. Andrew's definitely came out crooked because it was all one, I just peeled off the back all at once. And so his came out a little bit crooked, but again, I'm just not looking for perfection. So these are pictures of our fireplace. So because we don't have central heat and air, we have a fireplace in the winter. That's what keeps our house warm. And I wrote a little bit of journaling on the bottom of each of these cards. And one thing that always happens is the beginning of the season, when we first start using it, it's really exciting, and I'm so excited, and we get to have fires again, and that means it's getting cold, and I love it because I love this time of the year. But there's always a moment at some point before we wrap up the season of the fireplace that I just am tired of it because it's messy and always having to bring in wood and make sure that it keeps going all day. So I wrote a little bit about that, and then I also wrote that in December we didn't need to use it very much. It was pretty warm here in California and we weren't using it much, but then As January went, or in January we didn't use it much, but towards the end of January we started using it a lot more. So being in California, we definitely have experienced a warmer winter this year. In fact, last week, the very end of January, I had the house all opened up. All the windows were open. The door was open. It was 72 degrees. So anyways, I just jotted down that note. That space right there is for what the kids are thankful for, and I just haven't gotten, I haven't asked them, but I will. And then I need to print out, or I'm gonna have to send it out to have a 5x7 photo printed. I'll have to pick that up when I pick up my photos. So then I have these photos of science camp for Andrew, and I went into the Project Life app and I did a 4x6 canvas, and then I filled it with 2 3x4s. So I just went through the photos of science camp, and then I picked some out. And then this photo right here, what I did is I went into the Project Life app and I picked a 4x6 canvas, and then I put 4 photos on the 4x6 canvas in this orientation. And then I added that 4x6 canvas to a 3x4 canvas. And then I was able to print 2 3x4s out. And then I got 8 photos, like a photo collage. So that's another way that I get more photos into my photo album, is by using that Project Life app and using the collage feature to do so. And so I'm just going to slide these in the pockets. I just picked out a couple photos to fill this spot here. I'm not really worried about telling more of a story or printing out larger photos. These are a handful of photos that I picked out, and then most of the stories from science camp will be done in Andrew's album. So, and then I just have the click card right there in the middle, and that's it. And then on the other side of that is the things that we're watching. I will do hand journaling there, and all of the card will not be filled up. I'm not planning on filling up the entire 3x4 cards. I moved the Dancing with the Stars story over to where we were, where I'm talking about what we've been watching. And then what I did is, because I had some more random photos that I wanted to put into January, I added another Ali Edwards page protector, and then I added my Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I believe, are the cards that I added into this one page protector. And then I just filtered the photos in. They don't coordinate, so like that Monday does not coordinate with the collage of the Friends show and then that meme. But what I did do is talk about the photo on the card. So for instance, on the Monday card, I talked about how the last few years there have been several like start of the year memes that have floated around, and I've included those in my Project Life album. And so I talked about that. And then here you see I'm cutting off part of the backing. Then I can line up the sticker paper on the part of the sticker paper that's not exposed. And then I can peel it off, and that's just an easier way to line everything up. So that's what I talk about with the journaling. Again, I just measured that card, and then that's how I did the journaling on my computer. So then for Tuesday, I just talked about how my husband always sets up the coffee pot the night before for me, and then he always sets out my coffee cup. And he even knows the seasonal cups that I use. So during the holidays, I have some seasonal cups that I like using, and he always knows when to switch my coffee cup out. And it's just something really sweet that he always does. He makes sure the coffee pot is set up, and then that way it just can be turned on in the morning. He does not drink coffee, which is really funny. He's not even a coffee drinker. He doesn't like it, but he is always willing to set that up. So that's what I talk about on Tuesday. On Wednesday, I talk about moving my craft room around, and just how I've just, there's been things that have shifted in my office and organizing. And in January, I always tend to want to do that, and so on. So I'm not going to make you sit through me putting all of the cards in, but I wanted to give you an idea of the kind of journaling that I did and how they didn't necessarily match the days of the week. They matched the photos. The days of the week up top, it was just like a decorative element. So now here we are. We're going to dive into what I decided to do for embellishing, and you're going to see a few of the things that I did. The first thing I did is I added my word of the year to this flip up, and I was going to do a little bit of journaling right under word of the year or mention something about my one little word album, but I decided not to do that. I just decided to add my word. I used these letter stickers. I have a ton of them. And so I just used my letter stickers and I did my word of the year. And then I just left that and did no journaling whatsoever on that part. And then the other items that I used to decorate this month is I used some word phrase stickers. I pulled those out. And then I also pulled out my circle chipboard. And one of the things that I want to make sure to mention is I made the decision of what I wanted to use to do my embellishing before I sat down. And then this way, I'm not pulling a bunch of stuff. You know, I'm not digging through my stamps or digging through chipboard or digging through stickers. Like, I made the decision of the word phrase stickers that I would use and the chipboard that I would use, and then that's all I grabbed or went through or dug through when I was making these decisions. And then that way you don't get decision fatigue and you don't feel overwhelmed by it. And honestly, the way that the pages in January look, it doesn't need anything else. There's nothing else that I really need to add to these pages. I think that they look amazing. I think that there's enough journaling, there's enough photos, and there's not really anything else that is needed. I just wanted to add a few things. The other thing that I want to mention about photos and journaling is finding a balance. And a balance does not mean that every single month you're doing the same thing and that, oh, you have a title card and then you have X amount of journaling and X amount of photos and X amount of embellishing, and it's the same every single month. What I consider finding balance in my memory keeping, oh, this is Andrew. He was building Legos and he came to show me. So what I consider finding balance is overall, you know, maybe January has more words and I've journaled more and I've added more words to my photos. Maybe next month I don't have as much journaling. Or maybe in July I don't do as much embellishing, or in June, because in June it'll be the very end of my first album. And sometimes it gets pretty thick the first part of the year. And so maybe I don't do as much embellishing in June. But overall, the balance is me finding a way to make sure I'm getting through my project each year so that I'm wrapping it up and that there are enough words throughout the entire album to tell our story, and there are enough photos throughout the entire album to tell the story. And so I just want to mention that because I think sometimes we can think that if we start January out and we have a lot of words, then every single month we have to have a lot of words. Or if we start out in January and we're doing it monthly, we can't move and do it weekly because then it wouldn't be the same or it wouldn't be correct. And I just don't buy into that. I think lean into what is important to you and what you're wanting to do. And then your album will be more reflective of your life and your style, and you will find it easier to continue to do it. All right, I'm going to insert a small clip here at the end because my big camera, the memory card is full, and I want to finish this up. And I also want to bring you in a little bit closer to see a couple of the embellishments. So that's the last thing I did, is after I got all of the journaling put down in the spaces, that I needed to get it put down into, I went back and I started adding a little bit of embellishments to the photos. Like I added some chipboard pieces. I went with circles. So I pulled out some word phrase stickers, and then I just pulled out my circle container, and then that's what I decided to go with. And then that way I wasn't digging through a ton of different embellishments, but I could add a few things here and there. So like I added this chipboard piece here. I added this one on top of this circle. And then the other thing I did is I took my white paint pen. Now, this is not, I added this a couple places. The nib of the top of this pen is really bent out of shape. I thought this was what it would be, like the tip would be a little bit finer. And so I started writing on this and I was like, oh no, like the tip isn't as fine as I had wanted it to be, which means my handwriting isn't as great. I could reprint the photo, but I'm just not even going to worry about it because it's not about it being perfect. I just went ahead and I wrote the little thing and then I let it dry and I added it to that. So then all of my journaling for the kids is done. That came out really nice. It's hard to put it back with one-handed here because of the staples. Well, I'll put that back when I'm done. Okay, so then I added these photos here to this. Now, what I'm going to add here is the weather for that day. So I have a screenshot right before I took each of these photos, knowing that I wanted to put them in here. Before I took the photo, I took a screenshot of the weather. So I'm going to go back and put the weather here. I just didn't do that. Then I have my January journaling. I'll ask the kids and do this. I can do that at any time. That's one piece of journaling I still need to do in here, but I'll handwrite that. I added a chipboard piece up here that says home life. And then I just need to print one more photo. I need to print the photo. I actually might print a photo of my album wall. Sorry about the light right there, but this album wall, I actually might print a photo of that because what I'm realizing now as I'm filming is the photo I was going to use for that spot is right there. So I added the letters to the one little word, and that's all I'm going to do there. I'm not going to do any journaling about that. I added Andrew's science camp, and then I did a circle here, and I cut off the top of the circles. I did a circle here, and then I did a circle here, and then here's that collage that I did. I'm sure I talked about that when I was filming. I am going to handwrite here, the things that we're watching. These are the things that are just always on repeat for us. Kayla and Esau are watching Burn Notice together. They previously watched Castle together. We always listen to Last Man Standing. It's a show that's on. Last Man Standing and Friends we watch every single day. Andrew goes to sleep to Last Man Standing. I go to sleep listening to Friends. Esau started watching Reacher, and then we watched that together, and then I just started watching Young Sheldon. I moved my Dancing with the Stars story. I moved that right here because it made more sense watching, and this is something that we watched. So then there's the journaling, and then I added the journaling to the cards, and then I added a couple pieces. Like here is a circle that I cut off. I added some more white pen journaling on the photo to just tie it together, even though I really am not happy with the way my handwriting looks or how juicy the pen was or how worn out the tip was. It's totally fine. It'll be fine. Okay, next over, I added another chipboard piece here, and then that's it on that side, and then this is it on this side. I also added a couple little word phrase pieces. I added them here, and then I added them in another place. Oh, over here where the coffee is, I added word phrase stickers, and that is enough embellishing for me. I wish I would have put this on the bottom and cut it off, or put it on the side over here and cut it off, but I didn't like really think that through until it was already stuck to the photo. I don't want to ruin the photo taking it off. So that is all of January. So other than adding the hand journaling in a couple spots, which I'm going to do right when I'm done here, and adding the weather, that is a wrap for January. So I'm so excited that this is the way it came out. We'll wrap up January, and then we will be setting up February in our next video. So next week for Project Life Weekly, we will be setting up February. Thank you so much for checking out my video today. Here on the screen are 2 other videos that you can check out. If you liked these videos, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. I hope that you're having a wonderful day, and I will catch you later this week with another video. Have a wonderful day, everyone.